Your living room is the factory. The product being manufactured is you.
Welcome everybody to the Wake Up Call channel. This is an important video about something that a lot of people don't think too much about, and that is behavior. That is how they are forcing behavior, they're grooming behavior. We know that they have a plan for a social credit score, which of course would be based off of your behavior. Well, to get people to that point, they have to start forcing behavior onto people. They're using social media, and a lot of the stories that you hear out there are about behavior. These are subliminal stories where you might hear the story and you might be like, oh, that's interesting. Like, for example, there's been a lot of stories lately about at sports arenas, how fans are throwing things at the athletes or running onto the court. These are becoming big time stories for the mainstream media to use because it's about behavior, controlling the behavior. Why are people acting like this? We need to control the behavior of the fans. Back in the day, and look, it's give or take, whatever your take is on, well, they shouldn't be throwing things. The point is that it's about behavior. They are trying to point out the behavior of people because they want to control the behavior of people. And you might remember Larry Fink, this guy, another one of these massive, massive scumbags. Larry Fink, of course, of BlackRock. Everybody's familiar with BlackRock and how much they own and what they're trying to do. He even talks openly about his employees and how they have to control and force the behavior onto people.
Behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. Behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors.
So by forcing and controlling behavior, that means especially since we live in a world where we constantly hear these repetitive phrases that make no sense with like, be the best you, be you, right? And we know what that really means is that by being the best you and all this stuff, that is a way that they're forcing behavior onto people because people aren't actually being themselves. They're being talking, regurgitating heads of the mainstream media. And they're acting like they're politically correct, and they're making statements on their social media accounts about events that happen as if anyone cares, right? That's another way that they're controlling behavior. This is an interesting story that I wanted to share from Twitter. Want to review this? It says, Twitter's niceness prompts do alter behavior, a study finds. Social network uses algorithm to spot posts that appear aggressive and ask users to be more considerate. So the algorithm, while it's doing all these things, we know the algorithm's censoring free speech. We know the algorithm's flagging people. We know the algorithm and what, all these websites that have algorithms, what they're trying to do. Well, one of them, of course, by taking in your data, which I've talked about, everything you share, they calculate. You might think it's worthless, pointless stuff sometimes if you post just what you're doing in your day or if you're posting your dinner or whatever it might be. Well, to the algorithm, it's not. Because they're watching your behavior, even what you eat, everything. And it's not because they want to market and sell you stuff. It's because they're going to use it to groom you. They're figuring out everything about everyone, every piece of data that they can have. And that's because it's not because they're able to do it, because people are willingly giving them this data. They're giving them thoughts on their own minds. Eventually, we know the technology they have, they want to be in your mind. They want to be able to know what you're thinking and what you're going to do. They want to make, they want pre-crime to be a thing. But to get to that point, they have to have that technology inserted into people, and we're not there yet. But right now, they have people who are willingly telling them their behavior. So asking people to be nice on Twitter makes people nicer on Twitter, the company has announced, hailing the success of an experiment that prompts users to reconsider tweets that might be hurtful or offensive. Since 2020, the social network has tried to encourage users to be more considerate of others by algorithmically spotting posts that appear aggressive or mean-spirited and prompting users to consider they want to send them asking, want to review this before tweeting? Now in a study co-authored with a Yale Law School, Twitter researchers say the prompts, and I love how it's Yale, by the way, probably right to Skull and Bones, But Twitter research say the prompts do indeed work to encourage a change in behavior, and that the change sticks around long after the prompt was shown. So people go, well, what's wrong with that, Cole? What's wrong with the behavior being, people do need to be nice to each other. It's not about being nice or being mean. It's about manufacturing behavior. By manufacturing behavior, they're controlling your behavior and controlling what you do and how you act. Okay? Thus, you're not really being yourself. You're being a zombie. Because well, if I freely think or do this, I'm going to get slapped on the wrist. And Twitter is going to ask me, or so-and-so is going to do this, or I'm going to get my account suspended. But by following, I'll get promoted. I might even become social media famous if I talk about this in a positive light. And you might think, because you listen to my channel, oh, nobody thinks like that. But these zombies think like that. These zombies care about how they're perceived by other people. We do not care how we're perceived by other people because we're regular people. And regular people aren't supposed to care, or want everybody to like them and kiss their rear end. So they said they found out that every 100 tweets where users were prompted to reconsider, the following actions were taken. 69 were sent without revision, 9 were canceled, and 22 were revised, wrote Twitter's Kathy Yang. And Lauren, who cares? Of those 22 revisions, only 1 was rewritten to be made more offensive, and more than a third were redrafted to be more palatable. Now you might say, well, why is that important? Well, it's showing you that an algorithm, a computer, is being used to control people's behavior, to manipulate people's behavior. They don't even need to use human influence. The algorithm is reading certain words, possibly certain emojis that people post, possibly like exclamation points and even things like that, right? Because it's hard to, how do you, define what anger is via social media posts? Well, obviously there's certain words that they use. Obviously a curse word would be something I'm sure that triggers it. And then of course, words probably about certain things they don't want you to discuss, certain people, certain groups of people, right? And they're doing this and they're grooming people and they don't realize that it's an algorithm that is studying their behavior. It's artificial intelligence that's studying their behavior and then grooming their behavior back, not human beings. So they say the effects last longer than simply the initial tweet, see? Compared with users who didn't see a prompt, the incidence of repeat offenses dropped by 1/5 among those who were shown warnings. This represents a broader and sustained change in user behavior and implies that receiving prompts may help users be more cognizant of avoiding potentially offensive content as they post future tweets. So by being prompted, what they're saying is that this is causing people who are getting prompted to be more careful and conscious of what they're posting so that they don't post something that could be potentially offensive, so they don't get the prompt, right? So by just doing that, it is controlling people's behavior. One of the massive agendas that goes along with all this stuff is just look at China, is people's behavior, how people react. Because remember, when there's total government control and the government literally says you have $50 allowance a week, okay? You can only go here and here's your curfew. They expect you to smile and to be happy about it and to tell them you're happy about it. Because anybody who doesn't comply, they're going to be tracking you and tracking your behavior. So everybody's going to be forced into being happy. This is 1984 right here. Being forced into being happy. And then not just being forced into be happy, but they're going to regurgitate how happy they are. And they're going to tweet and tell everyone how great things are. And people are going to go, yeah, it's great. I just got my shackles off. Oh, they just let me out of my house for my 1-hour grocery store time. I'm so thrilled. And they're not going to realize that they're imprisoned because they're going to be focused on their social behavior and their social credit score. That's what these monsters have done to humanity. And that's what social media is bringing about. So they say the benefit goes both ways. Reducing the number of harmful and offensive tweets that a user sends also reduces the number that they receive. When a user turns a conversation negative or when they extend an already negative thread, their reply tweet can become the new route for other users to contribute negatively by encouraging users to rethink hostile approach. The social network also helped them make life more pleasant for themselves. So by being hostile, you're being negative, which means you're being a bad person. So it means if you're not complying to what they say, in other words, if they come and they tell you, I mean, this is just a full-on assault on free speech, but when they come and they tell you, look, we're going to taser you at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. We're going to let you out for 45 minutes. You can go to the grocery store. You can go for a jog up the road, and then you're back home. And if you tweet anything that's negative about it, well, we're going to taser you twice tomorrow. Okay? So if you tweet something nice about it, maybe we'll give you an hour of free time tomorrow. And here's your allowance for the week. And any complaints or anything like that, and you will be struck down. Your score will go down, and when your score hits a certain level, you can't do this and you can't do that. That's how this whole system's going to work. It's a system of control. And it's not just about controlling you. It's about controlling everything about you. Your behavior, what you say, how you act, how you dress, what you look like. That's what this system is. And that's why I constantly talk about the left and right, and these people are just still refuse to think it's going to get to this point. The liberals are the ones who are going to bring this in because of their emotional state, which is pathetic, weak, cookies, cupcakes. I call them cupcakes, cookie cutter, weak people, weak-minded people who, fell for this bullying movement. People are like, oh, that's because you're a bully. I'm not a bully. I've had people pick on me before. People pick on me now on YouTube all the time. I couldn't care less. As long as I'm allowed to do it back. I only get mad when I'm not allowed to talk. Because that, to me, that's just total bullcrap. If somebody's allowed to dish it, they better be allowed to take it. But bullying, what it does is it makes people weak by blocking bullying, by having anti-bullying movements. By bullying back and standing up for yourself, you show some fight, you show some character, you defend yourself, you don't take stuff. This whole system they've created is the anti-bullying movement, which I talked about in 2016. That's part of the backbone of compliance, is getting people to go and tattle, he's bullying me, to want the government to protect them and bring about this new world order, because the government's not going to be protecting them. The government's going to be controlling them. The government has no interest in you. Gay, not gay, liberal, not liberal, trans, not trans, whatever you are, they don't care. They hate all of us equally. That's why we all should be on the same team fighting against this system of control. But unfortunately, it's so bad that we actually have a group of people who are fighting for this system of control. And when the system of control is here, they're so brainwashed and brain dead, they're going to be the ones who are happy with the system of control. They're going to be like, I'm so happy. I got an extra $3 this week because I had a 4 on my social score, so I can buy a fruit by the foot. Oh, great. That's wonderful. Huh? Then you go home and they're going to tie you up like Dr. Frankenstein, and you're going to put a straitjacket on you and put you in your cell. They're like, that's great. That's fine. As long as, am I going to be in the metaverse? Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, these people don't understand what they're asking for. Twitter telling you that they're using their artificial intelligence not just to monitor your behavior, to control it, just like BlackRock, just like these big corporations. Because overall, Satan and Big Brother want to control your behavior. This thing they want to get inside your body to control you, it has everything to do with who you are as an individual, because you will no longer be a human being. You will no longer be who you are now. You'll be who they tell you you are, because they'll be controlling you, your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. So this is out in the open, and people hear stuff like this and like, oh, that's not a big thing. It's a subtle story. It's not subtle. It all connects. Just like I said earlier, with these stories where they talk about the behavior of fans at sporting events or the behavior of a certain person and what they say, right? You hear these stories about somebody tweeting something positive about the insurrection, and then all the mainstream media goes after them. And it's like, whoa, what about the person's free speech? Like a guy in the NFL tweeted something about the insurrection, just saying, hey, why are we talking so much about this and not about that? And he got fined by the NFL. I mean, are you joking me? I mean, I don't even know how they push this insurrection gimmick. I mean, even the liberals, does anybody care or buying into this? I mean, it's so poorly produced. That might be the CIA's worst run PSYOP, black op operation. I mean, other, of course, than the hook at Sandy, because I don't know if it's going to ever top that one. But anyway, this is them telling you they control your behavior, and they're going to continue to monitor and control your behavior. And this all leads towards the social credit score. That is the end game plan here, of course, with total control. And the mark is total control over your thoughts, your behavior, and your life. A reminder, check out the website at callfornuprising.com. I hope to see everybody over there. I want to thank all of you for your support and being here on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. God bless you and your families.